Let's try not to damage the battery and let's try not to die. I won't lie, I'm a bit nervous. I missed one bolt. Hello and welcome back to Ringfreaks episodes of Building the Tesla for the Nürburgring. First of all, I would like to thank you for all the support in the YouTube, in the Facebook, Instagram, for our videos. We are really pleased how much of the support we get in private messages as well in the comments. And as well, I would like to ask you, everyone who is watching, to also click subscribe button in the YouTube channel, which will even encourage us to make more and more content for you. I believe it's an interesting content because we will go to every detail how we'll do it. So it's pretty special, I believe. And for today's episode, what we will do, so because the car is already scanned and the best guys from AST Roll Cage already made a drawing of the cage, and this week basically, it's just a few weeks before Christmas, we will already pre-cut and pre-bend the tubes for us for the cage, and we will ship it. So because the cage is coming to us, we need to prepare the car completely for the cage, because the car is still with the glass, with the doors, battery. So today what we will do is basically remove all the doors, remove the battery, and as well we will see if we cut all the glasses out or we will leave the roof glass on, because it's not so interfering with the building the cage. So this we will see, and this what we will do today. Okay, so first of all we should get the Tesla on the lifter, because the lifters are there and the Tesla is standing somewhere in the corner between the drift cars and our track cars. So for this I believe I will need some help to push the cars away. What do you think, Linus? Should we cut both top glasses or we leave them?
Both.
We cut?
Both. Later we burn and we have a problem. Even the small one, maybe. On our small ones, no.
Small ones, I think it's no problem. Their cage won't go. We made a very small plan with Linus, and it's really simple plan. So what I will start with doing, so first of all I will take the doors out. I will take the front, rear, side doors, as well the trunk lid. After that I think I will be taking the battery out, because when I will have no doors I will have a better access to the battery bolts and everything when the car is already lifted on the lifter. Then I will have to cut the big rear window as well the middle window, not to damage them, and to have the better access for cage putting inside and also painting it. Of course the front windshield goes out as well, because the cage goes really close to the front windshield. So the car will be still a rolling chassis without a battery and without other parts. And after everything is taken out, what I will have to do as well, so as you see, when we go inside of the body, we have like mounts. This was for the roof lining, or the airbag mount should be drilled away, so it will be also nicer, also more space for the cage. As well, maybe just to cut some mounts like these, which will be completely not needed later, and they will look also not so nice, and they might be dangerous because we have sharp edges. Also, what else we will do, just before putting the cage in, original mounts like these, like small bolts, we will need to cut them away. Tesla has almost none of them, just really few to mount the wiring in the car, but we will remove them because we are using different plastic mounts which are much smoother on the surface and are not so dangerous, because when you don't have all the plastics, these tips can be dangerous for your arms, legs, if something happens in the car. So basically this is the plan for today, and I believe tomorrow, because it's quite some job to cut the windows, take the doors out, take the battery out, get all the coolant fluid out. Yeah, so this is what I will be doing. And at the moment Linus is putting the cage in the second F30 already BMW, and after that it will go Tesla time for the cage. In next episode you will already see how we are putting cage in the Tesla. So now let's destroy the Tesla completely. Let's get all the bits which are not needed out, and then time for cage. By the way, the good part of the Tesla is that it already has the aluminum doors, so all 4 doors weigh really not so much. And there I saw already aftermarket doors from carbon fiber or fiberglass for the Teslas, but I see really no point when they weigh really nothing, especially when you have the empty door without the glass, without the lifter and everything. The door is really light. So I believe with the Tesla it's always good to stay with the original doors because we are already aluminum and very light. So it also helped me because I won't need to carry the heavy doors upstairs. For everyone who is a little bit more new to car building, I also have a tip how to take the doors away from the car, because there are usually 2 ways how you can do this. So I will show you them. So most of the cars has 2 bolts or 3 bolts on the chassis on the hinge, and then 1 vertical bolt in the hinge, or we have, like Tesla has, 2 bolts on the door. So if I would undo these bolts on the body, it will disalign the hinge, and later when we assemble the car we will have to align the doors again. But here these 2 bolts are centering bolts. As you see, they have the cone. It means they center in the same place every time when you undo the doors and put them back. So that will save us a lot of time. In BMWs we simply take the middle bolt, and when we just put the doors, the gaps and everything are already perfect. Really light doors. So doors are out. Next step, trunk, not trunk, trunk. So the easy part of today, it's already done. All the doors are out already. As well, the trunk lid is also off the car. And what can I say, that the trunk lid was not from aluminum and it's pretty heavy. So maybe that's one of the modifications that you might do, but maybe it's also heavy not to have the rear end lift at higher speeds and to balance the car better. So we won't be changing it for a beginning, and we'll see how the car will be handling first. And as well, what will be the balance of the weight. So now the next step, we need to lift the car to see how to undo the battery, and let's take the battery out. So that's a bit harder step, I believe. I have taken some plastic covers from the front engine, also from the back, and I already see I have a pretty big problem at the moment. So you see there are some pretty special bolts, let's say, for Europe, and it's pretty new thing as I see in the Google. It's not a normal Torx bolt, it's a Torxplus. I don't have this head, and I tried different heads to put, and nothing works nicely, because like on the normal Torx bolt you can just put a normal 12 edges head and it usually fits, not really good, but for small bolts it fits. And for these Torxplus bolts, basically I see nicely nothing works, but that's no problem. I already ordered some heads, they will come later, so now I will have to skip a little bit with the battery because I want to take these ones to release the fluids, but maybe I will anyway start releasing some coolant out of the battery because it will be dripping for a long time. The funny thing I found in this car, so because as I said, this is already like the Model 3 facelift, so Here was like the mud guard, and there was one 10mm bolt. And I googled before and looked at YouTube how to take the battery, and it says like one bolt here, one bolt there. There are covers, and when you open the cover, and then you see, haha, there is no bolt, not even a hole in the body. So what Tesla did, they simply bolted it in the rear one bolt, in the front one bolt, and that's it. So they saved on the car already 4 bolts, because it's same on the both sides. So in the back it's the same story with these Torxplus screws. So here also I cannot take some parts off to have the better access to the battery. So as I mentioned before, what I will do, I will take the side skirts off, I will release some coolant, and later on I will keep on going with the top of the car, so I will be removing the glasses. So for me personally, taking like this coolant out is one of the ugliest jobs while working on the car, because you get your hands dirty, it's dripping on your head, on your arms. Also it always never goes fully into the bucket. It also goes on the floor and everywhere, so it makes a real mess. So, thanks Nadi for the help.
You're welcome. Next time you are a strong, independent man, or
For what you are training now, Nadi?
I'm going testing in a week in Spain, and next year racing again the full season. So
What you are racing?
road racing on superbikes, yeah,
On the roads?
on the roads. But
mean-
they will be closed. It's official races. No
Street
racing. No, road racing. I'm training to go do the Isle of Man TT in a year and a half. We will see.
And you are the fastest woman on the bike?
Why you gotta do me like this? On every road race I've ever been to, I'm by far the fastest woman ever in the world to have done it. I hope to take the record at the Isle of Man, and when I hold all the fastest woman records, I want them to stop keeping track, because it's silly.
So as you see, it was a pretty hard job to take all the windows out, because it has 3 glued windows and their size is also very, very big. But it was a task which we done. Maybe of course having the better tools to cut, it's easier to do, but some things we are doing simple. We know how it works, we have the tools, we don't need to cut the glasses every day, so we simply use the, I don't know how it's called, nunchucks and the wire string, and that's it, and we just cut it with 2 people. So that's maybe not most fastest way, but it works and it's convenient for us. We know how it works not to damage the windows and the body, so we are using the same method. So now as you see, the body is much more empty, but the good part to work inside, it's really bright now inside. We won't need any additional light when we will be working in this car, because the chassis is also white, and yeah, it will be perfect. So now I have cleaned the interior a little bit, so you can check it out how clean the car looks. on the meantime, while I was walking around the car without the trunk, this car back looks really odd, at least for me. And while the car is on the ground, what I will do now, I will simply take this blue marker and I will mark all the things which we will be cutting out of the body before putting the cage in. So I will simply mark them. For example, this mount, I will mark them so we can easily see them later when we will be putting the cage in, what to take out. So why we are taking them out? So it's pretty simple, because one thing, we won't be using them, and second thing, they are not so nice when they are left aesthetically in the car with the cage and without the seats or something. And the third thing, they are pretty dangerous, because these ends, if you are working on the car or you need to take something pretty quickly, they can really damage your fingers. So safety is important. So we better mark them and cut them away. So I mark them because they are white in the white car, and when you are cutting like a few hours in the day or something, later you simply don't see them anymore. So it's better to mark with the bright eyes and cut them at once. These, I think they are pretty small, so we can be left. For the middle console we leave them because we will be using the middle console, so we leave all these small bits here. Also, I seen there a few. These are especially dangerous for your legs because it may be covered, maybe not. So we'll see. It's really not much of these things in this car. These, I think I leave them here. Maybe we will use them for aero catch mounts for the trunk, or maybe it's like a stopper for the trunk, so we'll see. This is not needed. Not needed. I think that's it with the mounting points. This car really has already pretty clean chassis, so it's easy to work on it. It's not so much sharp edges or something on it, so it will look really clean and nice after it's done. So it is me again, and it passed already I think 3 or 4 days, because I started working on the car on Tuesday and now it's already Friday. And about the tools, so I have ordered the tools which I have checked in some YouTube video where the guy is stripping apart the battery of the Tesla, and he said you need EP8, EP10 and EP20 heads. So I ordered them, and of course I don't have one head because he mentioned the size is wrong. So I will quickly show you what I already got. So as you see, I got 2 kits. So this kit arrived basically next day when I needed, and this kit arrived day after. So what we have here in this kit, we have from EP10 to EP20. You can see these heads are Torxplus, so exactly what I needed. And here we have from EP6 to EP12. And the problem is now that basically the small kit I didn't even need, because the smallest head is EP10, so I had it basically the next day. So on the bottom of the car we have EP10 and EP12 bolts, and inside of the car I will show you. We have, I think it's EP22 or EP24, so I just ordered the bigger kit. These bolts are basically bigger than EP20, so it will be EP22 or EP24. So the thing is, I will simply wait for a few more days till the new set of tools arrives, and when I can remove the battery nicely, not damaging the bolts, and having the new tool set in my toolbox. So it's part of the learning process. And even it looks in the videos that most of the time I'm working alone on this car. It's just because I'm basically just a part-time mechanic here, and the most mechanical jobs are being done by our mechanical team. So it's by 3 people, Nadi, Linus and Tommy, and they are doing a great job. And now we are preparing 2 F30s for next season, and once they are a bit in the next process step, so it will be after cage is painted and already the body is wrapped and only interior is left, then the whole team will go to help on the Tesla project. So I'm basically just as a part-time mechanic starting to disassemble and prepare for the real job, this Tesla. While the car is here and I cannot do much, Nadi is already wrapping the tailgate and the rear bumper, because these parts can be wrapped without the car, and how to say, the design, it doesn't interfere bumper to the side and something, so these parts can already be prepared, not on the car. So she's already doing it, and she already pushes me to work faster and to remove the front bumper as well, because she wants to prepare it for wrapping and put the design on it. So let's see how the team is doing now. Here is Nadi. She's a self-learned professional wrapper.
Professional.
Well, here maybe it doesn't look so great.
Let's wait till it's finished.
But here she's doing a really great job. So the trunk is already almost finished, and the rest will be finished really soon, so she's really good at it.
Sometimes if it goes well, you know Eminem's song Rap God, that plays in my head.
Here's the F30, so the first car in which we put the cage now. So this is already finished, already sandpapered for the painting. And there in the horizon you can see the second F30, which has already the cage inside. It's being now grinded after welding and will be prepared for painting and will be painted next week. So finally all the tools which were ordered arrived. So as you see, now we have all the sizes from this Torxplus heads, so from the smallest EP6 to EP32. So hopefully it will be enough to take the battery out, and I really hope that there will be no more some strange heads. I know already that there are some heads to get into the battery, like the similar to this, like Torx with 5 edges to open the battery itself, but this we won't need, because we won't be getting into the battery itself. We will leave the battery completely standard, because I believe it's engineered in the best way possible. So we simply need to remove it from the car, and later when the cage and everything is done, we just need to put it back. I hope we have enough of tools, so let's keep on going. So in the interior we have these bigger balls, so it's EP20. So our EP22 head already works for these bolts. Now let's get other simple bolts from all the inside out, and then let's lift the car, and then let's make a small plan how we'll take the battery, because normally the lifting points of the car is the battery lifting points. So we need to lift the body on different parts to leave the battery on the lifting points. So yeah, we need to think how to do it properly and easiest for us. From the top of the battery, as I see, it's only 6 bolts. So you can see 4 of these EP22 and 2 normal 16mm heavy bolts. These 2 16mm bolts are in the back of the battery, and EP22 are here and on the driver's side as well. These nuts, which you can see here, they are welded to the chassis as well as the rear one. So the nuts we leave here welded to the chassis, and we will take the bolts from the bottom. So once the car is lifted, I can already show you where I made a few mistakes with these heads of EP8 and EP10, which are actually EP10 and EP12, so I will show you. Here on this small cover, so you see the smaller ones, so this is EP10, and the bigger ones on the middle cover, it's EP12. So basically, I will mention it like maybe 5th time, the Torxplus heads you need EP10, EP12 and EP22. So far I didn't meet any other head from Torxplus. So I think these 3 heads, which are special to this car, are only needed, not anymore. So now let's get all these covers out. Also, let's undo the coolant hoses. Let's get all the coolant out. I already started to release some, but I believe in the hoses there are still quite some of the coolant. And when it will be left just the holding bolts of the battery, and let's get it out. At the front I already disconnected the front engine battery cables, which goes from the front motor under the battery in the middle to the back of the battery where it connects to the battery. Here you can see some hoses are already disconnected from the last days. I see that some hoses I may left not disconnected from the battery because we simply just connect battery to the battery, and we are not must to be disconnected to take the battery out. And let's go to the back of the car. Here you see basically all the connections. So this is the connector for the rear motor to the battery. This is the big connector for the front motor for the battery, and this is some kind of control unit for the front engine. To unplug these, I basically must undo quite some cooling hoses in the back, but that's not a problem. That's what I will do when I will disconnect the hoses, disconnect the cables, and then basically only the bolts on the side will be left, like 13mm head bolts, maybe 10 on the one side and another side, and at the back of the battery and the front bigger bolts. And basically when the battery should go out. So as you see, I also removed some hoses which I actually don't need to remove, but I removed as much as I can. So I will get as much as possible coolant out now, because later we also won't be using coolant and we will be using distilled water. So it's better to get it out, and also when the battery will be laying on the ground, that it wouldn't drip so much on the floor. And then let's go to the back. In the back there is a bit more of the things. Here are more cooling hoses, and also there are connectors for the front engine and rear engine. On the sides, connectors for the cooling. This I have simply zip tied to the stabilizer so I wouldn't damage while taking the battery out. So now let's just clean up a little bit, and let's start taking the battery actually out of the car. Now let's run through the plan which I have how to take the battery out. It's a little bit difficult because the lifting points of the car is on the battery, and the battery is on the bottom of the car, and we need basically to put the battery on something and lift the body from the battery up. So I have the plan. So here is the lifting point of the battery. So I will lower the car down and I will lift everything, putting the lift point partly on the battery, partly on the body. Then here I will put the jack stand, so the car will be on the jacks basically. And after everything, when the battery will be without any bolts, I will put the plank here on the outside of the side skirt, and we'll put this arm just on the plank to lift the body up, because the body will be really light after the battery is out. Let's try not to damage the battery, and let's try not to die. all bolts are out, is the moment of truth. If it will go easily out or not. I won't lie, I'm a bit nervous. I missed one bolt. Okay, let's undo the bolt and let's try again. Okay, take number 2. Let's try again. Let's check. Okay, I think we have already a small gap. Okay, lift. More. Wait. Okay, wait. Okay, lift. More. Okay, wait. So, from second time I didn't fail, and it seems everything is going pretty well. Nadi is as well helping me to lift while I was...
the magician's assistant.
Because I had to check in the rear the few water pipes and the high voltage cables for the rear engine, that because there is a small gap between the stabilizer and the cable, so I simply checked that they wouldn't be ripped while the battery is staying on the ground and the body is being lifted. Now you can see that there is a... Wait, how to show for you? There is already a nice gap above the battery. Battery is staying nice. Let's lift the Tesla up and let's see how the battery looks like. Whew, yeah, the battery is on the floor. Everything is good. Tesla didn't fall from the lifter. Everything is really went by the plan. I would say the job is not difficult, it's just some bolts, some cables. The only part which really is not so nice that all the coolant is dripping on your head from all these connectors, but once it's done and it went out, the rest is nice. I will need to think the plan how to take these batteries from under the lifter. I need some rolling cart or something, because now I cannot lower the car because the battery is staying there on the jacks. Now I can show you that we have a nice floor above the battery. Why we took mainly the battery? Because the cage, for the cage to put inside, we will have to cut some holes here, also to cut some holes here. When we will be putting the cage in, to weld the top of the cage we need to lower the cage, so that's why we are drilling holes on the bottom of the car. As well, because we will be welding the cage to the chassis, I would not risk to have such a big flammable battery under us while welding on top of it. I would call this a well day, big job done, which I was a little bit nervous before, but actually it went easier than I thought. And now the next step is basically getting the cage and getting the car to the workshop, cutting out unnecessary mounts and putting the FIA welded cage from AST roll cages from Spain. And almost I forgot one thing. I was lying too. So you need EP10, EP14 and EP22 heads to remove the battery.